Amagreen. What's Amagreen?
We're live.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Mystical Times. I am Lori's guest today. Just pardon us while we get... That's my foot.
Sorry. Hello, this is Lori and Crystal with Mystical Times. Crystal is my guest. She's filling in for Joanna, who will be back next week. And this is a show that we do on Mondays from 1 p.m. Eastern Time to 1:30 Eastern Time. And we want to wish everybody a very happy new year. It is the last day of 2012, and what a year it's been.
Yes, Happy New Year to everybody. And I see we have Wendy watching us from the Ning.
Uh-huh.
So welcome, Wendy. It's nice to see you. And does everybody start with commercials when we first log in?
You know, I'm not sure about that. That's a pretty good question. Not sure. I think they start when they tune in, to be honest.
Okay.
Not necessarily when we start, but when they tune in, they do, I think, get a commercial.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay. So what I'd like to begin with on Mondays is a quick little reading for the week. Did you bring your utensils too?
No, I did not.
You did not?
I did not. Oh, I did not.
It's funny because they're listening to the delay. I guess I will be the only one making the prediction for the week then. And I'm sitting on a different chair, and I'll just try to sit still. We've got sound effects going here.
Yes.
All right, so I am going to pull 3 cards from the Gilded Tarot deck. And this is the prediction for this week. So we have Ace of Swords reversed, the Hierophant reversed, and then the Six of Wands reversed. So the message that I get from all of this is, first of all, not to get too stuck in your head, and I always have to look, if I see the Six of Wands, it means to look at the next card. What Spirit's saying is to not to look to others for advice as much as going within, to not be codependent, hanging on that, and actually that's so in alignment with what I'm seeing with a lot of people these days. I will say this, I am receiving a lot of emails and a lot of, calls that are chaotic, and people are having really meltdowns, great word, really difficult times. And so it's really hard because I can't really help you. I can help you bring you back to center. But if there's chaos, if there's a lot of hecticness going on, you have to work through that yourself, and nobody can do it for you.
Actually, this is very much in alignment with a reading that I had earlier this week, and actually one earlier today as well, where it's just about people needing to figure out what brings you happiness. And nobody else can tell you what makes you happy. You know what makes you happy.
Right.
And I get owning it. And, you know, it's like we were talking the other day about not the victimization of things. Where we're not the victim. It's, okay, what's the lesson in this? This obviously happened for a reason. Yes, it was crappy that it happened, but there was obviously a lesson. So that's what it seems like. It's about people having their own self-realizations and reflecting upon them without bringing themselves down and without blaming others. It's tough.
It is. It's not easy. And there are no free rides. No free rides. Nothing's just going to be given or handed to you just because. You know, our lives are a reflection of our thoughts, our actions, our intentions, all of that. And yes, there is the path, the destiny, excuse me, of your soul that you kind of mapped out before you came here. And there's a lot to do with free will and different choices that'll come up. But really, you create your reality. And you have the choice to be proactive or passive, and just hopefully life will notice me if I'm a good little doobie and just sit here and not create any havoc. But really, I think you have to be proactive and get it done.
Because there's times when you're like, I'm a very good person and I do things, and why isn't this coming to me? Right. And sometimes you need to go out and get it. It's not about, being rewarded. It's about doing what you need to do. It's like working for it.
Yes.
So.
And I know that we get tired And that's why, we're all human. However, if you're human, if you're alive here, then you got stuff. So you're going to have to work through it. There's just nobody's life is perfect. And some people will tell you everything's perfect and good, and that's all fine and good. But to compare yourself to other people is not fair to yourself.
And that's another thing that's been coming up a lot lately is why does this happen for so and so but not for, I seen it within my own family even. And actually I was just having a conversation with a family member this morning about that, and it was a great conversation because she's very spiritual, and we were just talking about how the people that are involved are not spiritual at the same spiritual level. So again, we weren't placing blame, but we were just like, oh, okay, so spiritual people, and when you come into realization, it's like, okay, you understand this, so now we're holding you more accountable. And it does not seem fair sometimes. Believe me, it doesn't. But it's the lesson. And so I would rather have more points now than have to relive some of those lessons. I don't know about you, Lori, but
it's like you might as well. It's like a whatever it's a job you still have to do. You can prolong it. You could put it to the side and be procrastinator, but it's not going to go anywhere. It's still there. It still is like, say, there's a road here, and you have this big boulder in the way, but yet you still have to work through that boulder. Either you chip away at it, you go around it, or you plug through it, or you just are stuck. It's not going to go away. You will not get to the next path or the next door until you work through this.
I like using the analogy of weeds in a garden, because you have to get out there and pick those weeds. And it's not a pleasant job. Sometimes it's hot out, but you have to get out there. And then when you're finished plucking all those weeds, your garden looks beautiful.
Yes.
And if you don't, the weeds just get higher and higher, and there's more work to do. So I always like to use that.
That's a great analogy.
So getting to our
topic, you want us to begin it? Go for it.
Our topic today is basically about guilt associated with readings and going. Well, that's the first part of it. Guilt associated with readings. At psychic fairs and throughout my years of doing this, some people come. They want to know the future, but they're not quite sure if it's okay because of different reasons, whether it's religious or they were taught it was wrong. And also the other thing we're going to talk about today is going to read without expectations. So the first part is, I just have to say that open people get the best reads. When you come in without those expectations or without the guilt behind it, it's like we were talking the other day, and it's like we can read, or what you had for breakfast when you're that open, and it's always fun. I always walk out of those readings just happy because I know I helped my client because they were very open and not necessarily, not that they were trying to hide anything, but they're just very okay. Oh, that's you know what I'm talking about, right, Lori?
Yeah, they're trying to control the reading. It's like when you connect with somebody's energy. When I do a reading, I connect with their soul energy. And some people, they are not trying to control it. So if you could see it, it's like trying to hold like a certain focus, or it's hard to explain, but like, say this is like a string or something, and I'm trying to match this string and try to tap into, and sometimes if they're not open, it might come down here, and I'm not able to make that connection. I'll get some stuff, but some people just want to hear certain things in the reading, so they're trying to control it, and then Spirit is really trying to come around and bring guidance from another place that ultimately everything affects everything in a read. It's like a web. It's all interconnected. So you may just want to focus on love, but really, did you realize that if you were set in your job and worked on something here, or say an old belief system, that it would affect the relationship part? It all is interconnected. And back to the guilt about having a read. I've had people saying, "Is God going to be mad at me for this?" And I say, no.
I was at a fair one time, and this young woman sat down and she said, "I want to read." Now, mind you, there were about 20 other people there because it was a really big psychic fair, and Spirit led her to me. So she said, "I want to read, but can you do it without your cards because I don't want to go to hell?" And I said, well, of course I could read, you without your without the cards. And the interesting thing was, through the course of the reading, she had slept with, I think it was like 4 or 5 different men, 2 of which were married, in the past 6 months. And I'm not passing judgment on anybody. When you come to read for me, I'm just reading. I'm just a messenger. But when you're worried about my cards sending you to hell, because you're very religious, but you're not worried about your, what is the word called?
Morality?
I guess it's morality. It's interesting to me where the lines are drawn,
or what's acceptable and what's not.
Yes.
What God poo-poos and what he does not.
Yes.
What he says is okay and not.
Yeah.
And really, if you look at that has to do with the personal belief system.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I'm not going to get a whole big religious thing, but I do believe that religion, a lot of it's interpretation from somebody else. And that's why I encourage people with their faith, search around, see what resonates, and you may not find one belief system that everything you agree with. And for me, I like a little bit of everything.
Yes,
I like
agree.
to sprinkle it, and it really all comes down to be a good person, don't try to hurt anybody, do the best you can, and love is at the core of everything.
And that's what's interesting. I had at another fair, I had an older lady that came in, and she said, she came in with her daughter or what have you, and she said that I had she said, I'm psychic, but my pastor told me that it was bad to be psychic. And I said, oh, well, I'm glad we had 2 different pastors, because my pastor told me that as long as I was doing this for good and not, trying to bend anybody's will or hurt anybody, then what I was doing was okay. And then the sweet woman proceeded to give me a read for about 15 minutes. And it was just really, really sweet. And I knew that she just needed to get everything she was saying out. So, I was like, oh, you're right. Oh, thank you. But it was just interesting that once she was told that it was okay, her guilt, and she was actually really right on. I can't imagine if she had all those years of practice, how phenomenal of a reader she would have been. But it's just like, again, the guilt associated with readings, whether you're giving them or letting them go. And I think some of the guilt has to do with past lives. And what was it, about 35 years ago in Florida, it was against the law to give a reading. So
that's interesting. Very interesting. So the best thing you could do is, when you make your appointment, is either whether you're coming in or having a session over the phone, which we do quite a bit of, is to just be open. Say, okay, so say if I scheduled a session and I'm going to do it over the phone with a reader, I would be taking time to center myself. I would be trying to clear and ask that I am able to be an open channel or sender to the person that's trying to connect, and that whatever I need to focus on or work on, or what I may be overlooking, may come through in that session. And here's just something else for the people who are receiving phone readings: to make sure that you are not driving, that you're not distracted. This most certainly will affect your reading.
It's the energy that you're bringing to it. And again, it's like the people that are more open get the best. I don't want to say they get the, well, they do. They get the best
they
reads.
get the most out of it.
Because they're open, they're listening, they're not distracted, they're not yelling at their children, or they're not driving, like you said, driving and having to deal with other things. So it's all about energy. And like, even when I make my jewelry or when I make my candles, if I'm having a tough day, I won't make my candles.
Right.
I don't want to put that energy into a product that somebody is going to burn for their intent. That's not right.
Right.
So it's the same thing when you're coming in for a read. You do that for yourself.
Exactly. And on the flip side, be mindful, or a little bit more selective. I have heard of readers who do readings while they're driving the car.
Wow.
I know. Wow. And so, to me, that's a red flag. So it's not that we're tooting our own horn, but really, this is such a sacred process, and that's why I'm so picky here, right? I can't help it.
Oh yeah.
But everybody that comes in and works out of here, they take their time, they pray, they prepare the space, and they are connecting with the divine energy. And it's a big responsibility for the guidance that we give people. There are people who really do hang on every word, and I wish that they would take it with a grain of salt to listen and to just see if it applies, if it feels right or not. But there are people who do not treat it as sacredly as they could.
Right. Right. And Wendy, if you have any questions about anything, just if you type it into the main chat room, we can read them and interact with you as well.
And I do see we also have people on Ustream, and we are at www.themysticalmoon.ning.com, and as well as the store website is themysticalmoon.com. Okay, so you had mentioned you believe this is a past life issue.
Some of it, yes, I do believe it's a past life issue. A lot of people that are in the metaphysical world, I guess, the metaphysical business, I think a lot of us have past life issues where maybe we were burned at the stake, or we were hung or stoned, or what have you, when it came to being open about these our gifts. And I know I've done some past life regressions where I dropped into a couple lives where it did happen, and it did make a big difference for me once I realized why I was having some of these fears about reading for the public instead of just my friends and family. And once I reflected upon that and realize where the core of it was coming from, it made it a lot easier.
Yeah, big difference. So I think we kind of covered a lot about this with your sessions, and but the other thing is that if you have any guilt or you feel bad about going for a reading, then don't do it.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line.
And also being fair to the reader, because sometimes they come in and like, oh no, I don't want those cards.
Right.
Or can't you read with this? Or oh, you need a tool?
Yes.
And everybody connects differently. It's just a matter of their personal preference. Sometimes we throw the tools down, but then people come in, or so it's, and once you start throwing up that doubt, the doors just start closing, and there's really nothing that we can do about it. It's just
right.
So it's coming in with open.
And I really want to add a little bit with that, because I have people who have come in and said, oh, you use the tarot? And I said, you know what? Don't judge a book by its cover. I do not read the cards. I am intuitive, and it's part of my ritual of opening up the space. Not only do I say a prayer, but it's the conditioning of touching the cards and saying the prayer that automatically gets my psychic juices going. It's like it opens up the door, the veil. It's like parting the curtains. And I do not need to read them. I am intuitive. So it blends it. And half the time my eyes are open or closed. And just because someone does not use cards or a pendulum or the runes does not mean that they are more psychic.
I've seen some of our readers here, they just they rub their hands together, and then that's how they connect.
Correct.
So it's just a matter of what you are used to, what you're comfortable with.
Well, it's how your psychic gift works.
Exactly.
It's how to get that motor started.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple of crystals today. I am going to talk first about the two that I have selected. I have selected Chrysocolla, which I am looking also through this book, the Book of Stones. It's a fabulous book, marvelous, fabulous. And this is the stone. This is Chrysocolla, and I love this stone. And I know it's a form of turquoise, and I like to work with this because to me this stone screams out Mother Earth. The Earth Mother. It even almost looks like an earth. Sometimes there's brown in it and the blue, like the land and the sea. And to me, it just really helps open up the throat chakra. Very nurturing stone. And so it's a water element. It works with the throat and the heart. And it's a stone of empowerment of the feminine energies in both men and women. It has gentleness and it has power. With that teaching, genuine power best expresses itself through gentleness, so soothing. Yes, it does connect with the earth. It helps with the release of stress, anxiety, and other fear-based imbalances in the body, and it can help with regulation of the thyroid and adrenals. So if you need a little bit of energy, it'll jumpstart you. It is excellent for sore throats, laryngitis, and for support in the larynx in general. And on a spiritual level, it's good for sound healing, whether through words or sound frequencies. So I should bring this in with crystal bowls. Also governs all aspects of that too. Also teaches us how to change the reality of our words. So if you're working on public speaking, or if you have a conversation you're a little bit nervous about having, this would be a great stone to bring with you. All right. Then the next stone I selected was lepidolite, which with lepidolite, I have 3 different forms here in the store. This is the tumbled form. This is more of like a, I think it has mica in it. So this is another form of it. This is natural too. So it can come in a couple of different ways. And this one, it's more of like the, I don't know what
that one's pretty.
Isn't it sparkly? What I like about lepidolite is that it has lithium in it. So for me, it's a very soothing and calming stone. When people want to have a better night's sleep, I encourage people to work with this. However, you do need to be cautious. I will say this. I had a client once who worked with this, and she was completely out of her body the whole next day.
Oh, wow.
So it took her there. So I would encourage you to maybe work with this when you really don't have to go anywhere the next day. It just in case, if you're really sensitive and you astral travel very easily, I would really encourage you to be mindful of this. All right, just caution, caution, caution. So it's a stone of serenity, and it encourages one to respond to hostility without being defensive. Helps with harmony, and helps you see the problems as opportunities to learn and grow. It helps you with perceiving and releasing past emotional issues. And even if you don't even know, so sometimes we're like, I know this is a past life thing, and I get so emotional. You don't have to dissect every aspect. You could just work with the stone and just, it's like sometimes what you don't know, it's okay, but you don't always need to know.
No, and you can release it. Just
and
focus
you can
on
release it. It encourages us to let go with the identification of the ego and acceptance of the present moment for the soul that's dwelling in the body. It also helps you find a strong emotional center and acceptance of the present moment, as I said. It's an excellent stone for mental emotional imbalances and can help curb hyperactivity and attention deficit disorder. Also a great stone for sleep disorders, as I mentioned before. So I spoke about chrysocolla and lepidolite. And so say if I was going to be over the holidays working with somebody or interacting with somebody who brings me a lot of stress and I know that I get defensive, I might have both of these with me to help me be a little bit more centered and to speak with peace and to not allow myself to lose my own power.
Yes.
That might help me just a little bit with that. Okay, Crystal?
Okay, the 2 that I'm speaking about today are 2 of my favorite. And the first one is amethyst.
Can I hold it for you?
Sure.
There we go.
And amethyst is very good for your third eye or your crown chakra, and also the chakra above your head. So the higher crown chakra. But it's also good for communication. And that's one of the reasons why when I was teaching in the classroom, I always had amethyst on my desk or in the classroom somewhere, because it's very good for open communication, clearing things, and things being very, I guess, fair or peaceful as well. Let's see here. It's an ideal stone for the enhancement of one's physical environment, and if you put it in your home, your meditation room, it can bring the feeling that you're protected by a bubble of light.
Nice.
And one of the things that I know that it works among the other stones that I use in my classroom was because the reading specialist would come in and say, your room is the most peaceful room. And I said, thank you. But it was because, I did Reiki symbols throughout the room. I did, and I had my stones there. The other thing I like about amethyst, if you use it, which takes me to my next stone, is garnet. If you use it with garnet and citrine, I put them in my little safe where I keep my money,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps bring more money in. So amethyst, citrine, and garnet all together, it just brings it in for you. Helps bring in wealth. And garnet, I just love. It's very pretty. It's not, has that nice deep red. It's good for your root chakra, and it is known for carrying the energy of prosperity and enjoying worldly pleasures. So why would you not want to be surrounded by garnet, I guess?
Mm-hmm.
It's good for manifesting and bringing in your dreams and your desires.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I love about garnet and amethyst together. And if you know anything about citrine, citrine is also about prosperity and money as well, among a lot of other things. But the three of those stones together are very powerful for manifesting. So
Awesome. Thank you. And isn't the stone right now for the sign we're in garnet? Pretty sure.
I don't know.
I think so.
Okay then.
Alrighty, so what's up and coming? So this Reiki Circle, I don't know if some of you have received the email or not, but Pam Zock's last Reiki Circle is this Friday night. She has been with me here at the Moon since I opened, since my very first psychic fair, and it's a very bittersweet time for me because I just love her as a friend, as a coworker, as a healer, as a woman. She's just the best.
She has great energy.
She has fantastic energy. So her Reiki Circle is this Friday at 7 p.m. and nobody creates an altar like Pam.
No.
Nope.
No, they're
Not
beautiful.
now.
Beautiful.
Not never.
Never.
Never. And Pam is opening up her own center in Naples, and I'm so proud of her, and I'm excited for her, and I know I'm going to go visit and see what she has going on down there.
Pam.
Yay! Celebrate! So this is her last Reiki Circle, 7 p.m. on Friday, $20. Oh, also, sorry, I'm going to jump a little bit backwards here. Wednesday is the Real Psychics of Southwest Florida.
Thursday.
Mm-hmm. Thursday. Sorry, it's Thursday. Thursday. Real Psychics of Southwest Florida, 6:15 here on the Life on the Moon channel for an hour, and watch us talk about a little bit of everything. All the readers, healers here, just being ourselves. And we are closed. It's like I'm doing this backwards. We are closed tomorrow for New Year's Day to celebrate with our families and just take some personal time.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what else. Oh, Crystal has some New Year's candles.
Yes. I made some New Year candles with intentions. You can read the intention or you can not, but I made them under the full moon. So they are to just bring in a prosperous and happy new year. So that they are here, they're available, they're votive candles. So they're $3.
Yes. Yeah. And come in quickly because they're selling out.
They're selling out.
They are selling out. This Saturday is Crystal's Psychic Kids Development Class at 10 a.m. It's $15 for about an hour and a half, right?
Yes. Yes, and in that class we talk about, I have a great group of kids that have been with me from the beginning, but new ones come in all the time, and we just talk about some of the fears that they have, some of the, with the metaphysical things, some of the things that they see, how to hone their gifts. What did I give? Oh, I gave them all gifts the last class was December, so I printed out a little thing for their strengths and their weaknesses and what worked with their sign, and it was fun. We talked about that.
Also, the frequent shopper cards that I have been punching, little punches for the discount. Today is the last day to get your card stamped or punched. For those of you who do already have the full cards, I'll be honoring that $10 discount for as long as you have that card. Let's see what else. I do want to talk about the CD that I created with Joanna, the Transform Yourself. This is a wonderful CD program to work with for the new year. This is 21 days to transformation, and what you do is you write down your intention, and for 21 days there's a morning meditation or get up and go, get you psyched for the day, and then there's a PM one to help you kind of tie things together. And for 21 days straight, we encourage you to listen to morning and night to help manifest and to help you work through whatever it is you need to get through to your intention, your manifestation at the end. And you can use this over and over and over, and we do suggest you only do work with one intention at a time.
Yes, otherwise it gets a little overwhelming.
Chaos!
is. But it's a good program.
Yes.
Very nice.
Absolutely. Oh, and I did want to show my daughter, she created this bracelet. This is an abundance bracelet. It has clovers and green aventurine. And Crystal also has jewelry here available at the store.
I'm very proud of Nicole. She's been doing a very good job banging out those little bracelets and everything. She made a, was it a chocolate keychain?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, she's doing a good job.
She's getting there. Yeah, as I said, Crystal also has her jewelry line here too. She is wrapping stones as well. So if you have some stones that you're wanting to carry with you, a little bit of a personal touch, bring them in. We'll take care of that.
Yes, we will.
Alrighty, well, thank you everybody. We wish you a very happy new year, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Why does that do that?
It's on another thing you gotta minimize.
I didn't do it fast enough.
Here we are. Oh, yeah. Oh, you just had us. One day we're gonna have a producer.
This is the best part.
And the outtakes.
Bye.